All right, thank you for joining us today. I'm Luke Smetters with Premier Marketing, and I'm here with Bryce Beach and Chris Johnson, co-founders of Sepio Guard. And rather than me explaining this company, I'm just going to let them jump right in, and right from the lion's mouth, I'll let them tell you all about this great offering here.
All right. Well, I love being described as a lion. That's good, Luke. Thanks for having us. Yeah, just a really brief background on what we do. Actually, we'll get into the what we do here in just a little bit, but I guess why we formed the company. So we have a background in the pre-need side of the funeral industry. So back in 2010, and started with a large pre-need marketing agency, worked with really big funeral homes and cemeteries, and then small ones as well, and normal sized ones all around. So we actually we love pre-need. We have a deep passion for it. We love serving families. And a couple years into our experience with that side of the business, we came across a product that's similar to ours now. And we, long story short, just saw some major holes in the process, some things that we thought we could improve upon, mainly for the experience of those on this call today, for those pre-need counselors, funeral directors, everybody on the pre-planning side of the business, for the funeral homes as well. It was just really important for us to create a better experience with the right tools and expertise to assist not only the families we serve, but especially you guys in helping you serve more families. So that's how everything kind of came about, and we'll get into some of the details as we go along here.
Absolutely, and as Chris mentioned, the main things that we try to do is just create a better experience for a lot of you who are on the call today, and that's going to include, funeral homes, pre-need agents, marketing agencies, and really at the end of the day, the people that are purchasing this product for themselves. We just wanted to have a great experience for everybody. What we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to show a brief video. We like to call it our explainer video, and this just kind of walks you through what our coverage consists of, how it can help people out, and as well as some of the obstacles people would be faced with if they didn't have this coverage. And Chris, if you can go ahead and share that video for us, we'll take a quick peek.
You got it. Okay, let's see if this audio works okay here.
Die at home, peaceful and easy. But if you die away from home, whether it's across town or around the world, you'll have to suddenly make hundreds of urgent decisions to get your remains back home. Well, you won't, but your family will. Even if you die in your home state, it's complicated. There's dozens of strict local laws and regulations, shipping requirements, and possible language barriers. Plus, it costs thousands of dollars. And which funeral homes are trustworthy? It's such a nightmare. You could get stuck for weeks or months, tied up in the paperwork, while your stressed out family is mourning without your remains. And most travel insurance won't cover these expenses, or handle any of the paperwork or logistics. We'll take care of everything. Sepio Guard is Away From Home Assurance. It's a membership that covers all the logistics and expenses of getting you back home, simple and hassle-free. So you'll be fully protected, and your family will be fully prepared. Sepio means protect. Cute. Here's how it works. If you die 75 miles or farther away from home, whether it's a weekend disaster or an exotic emergency, just call Sepio, and we'll take care of everything for you. Normally, there's 20 different people involved in the process. Local police, a translator, an embassy official, a local hospital and a funeral home, a funeral director and driver, the mortician, then a shipping agent, airline representatives, another driver, inspectors, airport handlers, ground crew, the pilot, and a local version of the same people. Each step has its own complicated costs and confusion. Sepio Guard puts it all in one little card. Poof! Don't worry, everyone is still there. This is your membership. We'll take care of all that behind the scenes work so your family can rest easy, fully protected from the hassles and expenses. Set up your simple membership, and wherever you go, we'll get you back home so your family can celebrate your life just the way you want. Get protection for you or a loved one today at sepioguard.com.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks for sharing that, Chris.
Go ahead and reshare the screen to you.
There we go. Can you all see my screen okay now? Perfect. All right, well, what I want to go over next is just kind of segue off of that video and tell you a little bit about how our coverage works and really how it can help benefit families. So our coverage begins at 75 miles from home. So if a death occurs 75 or more miles from home, we'll take care of everything needed to get that person brought back to their local funeral home. And that's going to include the body preparation, the transportation, working with the shipping funeral home as well as the receiving funeral home, and then navigating through all the red tape that's going to be there. And that's going to be, working with hospitals, getting paperwork and documentation signed, depending on where the death may occur. Every state, every country, they have different requirements. So we're going to help navigate through that so the family doesn't have to worry about dealing with all those obstacles when they're going through a very difficult time. So that's how our coverage works. And as far as signing up for our coverage, it is pretty simple. And so there's no deductibles, there's no claim forms, there's no age limits, there's no health questions. Now, if you're looking at the screen there, you will see a little asterisk next to the no health questions. Really what we mean by that is if you're meeting with someone and they're in a hospice type facility, or they're truly just not going to be leaving home, then this just wouldn't be the product for them. So we always want to make sure that we're keeping our family's best interest in mind. And then to continue on here, there's no dollar limit. So wherever that death occurs, however much that might cost, we don't have a maximum cap. So there's no dollar limits. And then the last one, we're really excited about this because we feel this really separates us from the competition and some of the other providers out there. We don't have what's called a first call requirement or any first call limitation. And what that means is some of the other providers out there, their contract states if they're not the first call, then the coverage could potentially be voided. And we understand that if somebody makes their funeral prearrangements or they're working with a local funeral home, that's probably where that first call is going to go. And with some of the other providers out there, that would essentially void their agreement. And we understand that. So whether they contact a funeral home first or they contact us, it really doesn't matter, because once we receive the word that a death has occurred away from home, we'll go ahead and get everything placed in motion to get the loved one brought back to their local funeral home. And what we have done is we've formed a partnership with National Mortuary Shipping and Cremation. And this really just allows us to focus on what we do best, which is going to be the customer service, the user experience. As I mentioned a few minutes ago on this call, we just really want to have a great experience for everybody involved. And rather than trying to wear a lot of different hats and not really being great at any one specific thing, we rely on National Mortuary Shipping and Cremation so we can do what we do best, and that allows them to do what they do best. Now, National Mortuary Shipping and Cremation, or NMS for short, they're based out of Cleveland, Ohio, and they're a leader in the industry, and they've been around since the early 1980s, so nearly 40 years now, and they specialize in ship outs and retrievals, and they do 6,000 to 7,000 cases a year, and they're truly the experts. So when a death does occur away from home, we work specifically with them, and again, that allows them to do what they do best, and then we're able to do what we do best, which is going to be on the the support and sales side of things. And we do have another video for you. We're going to go ahead and share the controls with Chris to tell you a little bit more about National Mortuary Shipping and the partnership that we have with them.
At Sepio, we've transformed the travel plan product to be much more than just a product. We call it Away from Home Assurance, and we've designed a superior customer experience.
Now, we've teamed up with National Mortuary Shipping and Cremation because we knew that we needed to partner with the very best in the industry.
We help hometown funeral directors with out-of-town deaths.
They ship human remains, cremation, graveside services, disinterments,
airline transfers, flight booking, livery, out of the state, out of the country, even right around the corner from them. If they run into a problem, we're the industry expert.
And after nearly 40 years and helping hundreds of thousands of customers, we have the eye for the right partnership.
And over the years, we've been approached by numerous companies, but no one has had the same commitment to exceptional customer experience as Sepio.
We're a perfect match for Sepio. They have innovative technology, value the customer experience, and fantastic sales reputation. Our partnership works because we're both able to do what we do best.
We're based in Southern California, right down the road from the largest privately owned cemetery and funeral home in the world, where we have personally met with countless families and trained hundreds of sales agents to become successful producers.
As the industry leader since 1981, we know firsthand how important it is to bring a deceased loved one home safely, and Sepio shares those same core values.
We put a huge focus on sales training and coaching because we've lived the life of a sales agent and we know how important that is. The engine behind our sales process is our user-friendly sales technology. And with that technology, we can produce effective reporting as well.
Part of our industry-leading technology is our custom referral program, which sends a link to every new member, and that link can then be shared with friends or family so that their loved ones can get this same protection.
Sepio brings us ahead of the curve. Their innovative sales technology helps us reach customers long before they need us.
We train you with the tools to get industry-leading results.
By working together, we offer more than just a product. It's the best experience in the industry.
At Sepio, we provide direct support in a way that is revolutionizing the industry through our hands-on training, user-friendly sales technology, and our world-class customer support.
We look forward to a great future together.
It's a strong partnership. We're going to help more and more families be fully protected.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing that, Chris. All right, go ahead and share my screen now. And as you heard in that video, one of the big things that we really like to focus on, and I alluded to it before, was the sales training, the hands-on support, and the technology. And so we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about our technology, how it can really help sales agents and families alike just get this protection for themselves or for loved ones. So we do have a app that's available in the Android store as well as those using an iPhone. And so our technology is just designed to have a good user-friendly experience for everybody who's going to be submitting sales. And this obviously brings a convenience factor for the sales agent. They have the ability to very easily submit new business, but what it also does is it allows the agent to reach out to more and more families with our user-friendly and proprietary referral technology. And so every time a sale is made, a family is going to be receiving a welcome email thanking them for purchasing. But in that welcome email is going to be a referral link and the ability to post to their Facebook page if they choose to do so. And what this does is it allows the agent to get more referral business because the family who has just purchased one of our Away from Home Assurance memberships has the ability to share that with friends and family. And if they choose to share it on their social media page, whoever's following them can see that they've just purchased a Sepio Guard membership for themselves and the benefits that come along with that.
Bryce, if I can just jump in here for a second, this is one of the things
Absolutely.
that I love best about Sepio Guard. So you've got this system where agents and you will work together to really help spread the this product and this valuable resource to others throughout the community, and where people can share it with their friends. But this app, I have a lot of agents, for example, that are sometimes scared by technology and they're not as tech savvy. So on the one hand, you've got a lot built into it of training components and the ability to share this. But on the other flip side, to write up a new customer or a new individual, it's super simple. I love that it's just 4 simple screens and there's not a lot to it. It's name and contact information of that individual, and it's credit card information. I mean, it's really super simple for anybody to use.
Thanks, Luke.
Absolutely.
If I could just jump in real quick, that was something that was really, really important to us, having had the experience and the background meeting with lots and lots of families and training a lot of other people to do the same. We ourselves, actually, Bryce is pretty tech savvy. Myself, I'm not. And so, you know, from our point of view, we like to say this is sales technology, you know, made by pre-need sales professionals for pre-need sales professionals. And the main purpose is for it to be really, really easy to use. As a matter of fact, although we would love to get in front of all of our agents across the country and train before they attempt to make a sale, we have so many family service counselors out there that open up the app and make a sale before they've done any training at all, and because it's that easy to use. It really is kind of foolproof, if you will. So before we move on to the next slide, I know many of you are probably thinking, you know, I've heard of travel plans before, and I've heard of this concept before, but right now, especially now with what's going on throughout the world, there's not a whole lot of people traveling. And you are right about the fact that there are a lot less people getting on an airplane and going overseas. But one of the things we pride ourselves in is this whole message that it's not necessarily someone that's a regular traveler. It's just anybody that's away from home. I don't know about you, but right now we are seeing more than ever before people not necessarily going on airplanes, but getting in their cars and going on road trips. So just it was a couple months ago, right in the middle of COVID-19, we had a gentleman. He was younger than the typical person that would prearrange their services, and thankfully he did, but he prearranged basically on a Wednesday. Then he went out of town to visit his son about 275 miles away from home. And he unexpectedly passed away due to a heart attack. And it was a terrible, tragic experience, obviously. But eventually his son figured out that he had made his prearrangements just days before, and this was a part of it. So even though it was just a half day's drive away or just a few hours away, it was still a really, really big ordeal for that family. It would have been if they didn't have an away from home assurance membership through Sepio Guard. So obviously we jumped in, we took care of everything. And long story short, I mean, it was thousands of dollars, and the legal requirements, because it was in a different county, it was a lot to handle for this family. So luckily we were there to take care of everything and make sure that process was smooth. But that just goes to the point that, believe it or not, more people than you think are leaving home more than 75 miles away. And that's the kind of right mindset to have when you're offering a product like this. So if we can move on to the next one there, Bryce. This is something that we've seen, right? We know that there are other products out there, but just having a product, this is something that, although we know without a doubt that this is something that people want and need, this doesn't really sell itself. Not many people in the general public know that something like this exists. So they're not going to walk into the funeral home and say, hey, I heard you have this away from home assurance, sign me up. So it doesn't really sell itself. However, it is very, very, very easy to sell. Here's the deal. I'll give you a little hint, and we can spend more time after this call going into the details here. But this is not something, we always say this is not something that we sell. This is something that we prescribe to our families. This testimonial here with Diana Barley, she is fantastic. She already had experience with a plan like ours. And but but was kind of struggling to really become successful with it. But basically, she says, I prescribe away from home to all of my families. They seldom say no. We have testimonials like this all over the country. If it is presented correctly, and basically it's prescribed as something that they're going to need, and the feeling is that you prescribe this to all of your families, not just those that ask, and not just as an afterthought, like, oh, by the way, we have this thing if you happen to be gone from home. If it's part of what you do on a regular basis, on the left side of your screen, those that are attempting regularly, basically those who are bringing this up on a regular basis to the families that you serve, they're between 35% and 85%. And it's never going to be 100% because those near need situations or a hospice case and things where people are never leaving home, this is not the right product for them. But other than that, once people get the hang of the easy step-by-step method of including this in part of your presentation with your families, behavior changes very, very quickly, and then we're kind of off to the races. And I mean, reach out to Luke in particular about the amount of the commission rate and things like that. But it really is, we have agents all over the country where they'll call us and tell us this is kind of a game changer for them financially. And it's something that families literally seldom say no to when it's presented properly. And we're confident we have the right step-by-step method for that.
I think too, along with that, I mean, you mentioned the traveling to see families, but I know so much of our country involves rural communities, and oftentimes to get to a larger hospital means you're traveling more than 75 miles, depending upon what your health issue is. So right there it's not just families. It might be to go to a hospital to get some sort of procedure. I mean, you hope all goes well, but again, having this extra added layer of protection, I think, is important.
Yeah, Luke, that's fantastic. Obviously, it's easy for us to say this. We're a little biased because this is what we do. But we sincerely believe that one's arrangements are not fully complete until they have a plan like this. One thing to remember is when someone comes to a funeral home, makes pre-arrangements, or whatever type of end-of-life product that you provide for a family, if they don't die at home, basically, or really close by home, those plans that they made and the thousands of dollars that they paid, whether it's at once or over time, they really will not work the way that they think it's going to work if they die away from home. Therefore, everybody needs something like this. And more today than ever before, people are just more mobile, and they're going away for a day or two and coming back home. And so, again, we're just very passionate that this is something that needs to be included in everyone's plans. It's a very important thing.
So Chris, if I can just have you or ask you to go one step further, if you are a pre-need agent right now and you're sitting with a family to do a pre-plan, how do you prescribe and incorporate this Sepio Guard into your conversation with them?
Okay, so I'm so glad you asked this, Luke. And I'm going to preface this by saying it gets easier and easier every single time you do it, and it really is. There's not a whole lot of pushback ever if it's presented correctly. And so we really strongly encourage that you bring this up between two items that you always talk about. So if I'm a pre-need professional and I'm meeting with somebody and they want a traditional burial, well, I'm always going to be talking about some sort of a casket or a burial container, right? So after we talk about that, we immediately go into away from home assurance. The way that I would recommend doing it is, this is how it goes. So Luke, if I'm presenting to you, I would say, so the next thing is, Luke, there's two things that we just cannot predict. Number one, obviously, is when exactly we're going to die. And the other one is where death will occur. So for that reason, we include what's called away from home assurance in all of our pre-arrangements. So that way, Luke, no matter where death occurs, you'll be brought back into our care. Okay. The next thing, let's talk about death certificates. Here's what I typically recommend. Okay, so you can see how it's kind of a no big deal approach. And I I'm acknowledging that we cannot predict where death will occur, and so we include away from home assurance in all of our prearrangements. And I nod my head. And I know it's easy for us to say, but we hear from countless dozens and dozens and dozens of agents nationwide. They're blown away with how easy it is. When the families hear that and it's done correctly, they either say nothing at all, or more commonly they say, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense," and you keep moving on. And honestly, it's that easy.
Well, I think that hits on one of the realities. So many of us think about, oh, I don't know when I'm going to die. How many of us have actually given thought or entertained the question of where are we going to die, right? So I think for a lot of people, that's just a new question that you've just entered into the mix that a lot of people probably haven't ever thought about before.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I guess we'll save some time for any questions here, but the process is easy. The process is something that once you do it once or twice, it's that easy. It's really easy to kind of change behavior and never look back. And so we have so many agents that are advanced planning professionals and things. It just takes the courage to try it once or twice, and the families love you for it, and then you're off to the races. So obviously we pride ourselves in doing a lot of one-on-one training, group trainings, whatever we can do. There's training on everything that we've talked about today within our app. When you get appointed to sell our product, we have a training library. It's all there. You can watch it on your cell phone, so it's really convenient. But I guess other than that, Luke, is there any other questions?
Yeah, so there is a chat bar on the side. If you have questions, feel free to type them in there. I'm not seeing any at the moment. But if you do have additional questions after this webinar is over, certainly feel free to reach out to your Preneed marketer. They're happy to answer commission questions if that's important to you. They're happy to answer any other types of questions that may be on your mind. I know sometimes some people are sometimes very want to know more about how the embalming, if you have control over embalming or not. And I know the answer to that is yes, because you work so closely with National Mortuary Shipping to, if you are one of those funeral directors that wants the body embalmed a certain way, that you do work to try to make that happen.
Luke, one last thing that I totally forgot, and that is just to throw it out there. It's not a requirement, but we have a lot of agents more and more right now, especially with what's going on. The idea of remotely reaching out to people. We are getting a lot of requests for people that have been in the industry and they have kind of a book of business, if you will, people that have prearranged their services but do not have a plan like ours. Well, we've actually, on behalf of the family service counselor, on behalf of the funeral director, we have actually been reaching out to these families and letting them know that this is now available to them. It's a very soft approach. We have scripting we can share, but you would be surprised how many people just go for it and they buy it right over the phone because they see the value in it, and they kind of wish they would have heard about this from the beginning. And it's been a great experience for us. So that's something that we offer as well, is just help to kind of get you ramped up and to reach out to your past clients. So again, it's totally optional, but that's something that we've had a lot of success with.
Absolutely, Chris. And one thing I failed to mention earlier, just the pricing of our coverage and our product. So we have 3 different price points. There's the single payment option, and that's $449. That's a one-time payment for lifetime coverage. And then we do have 2 payment options available as well. We have a 3-month plan, that's $150 a month for 3 months. And then we have a 12-month plan, that's $45 a month for 12 months. And once both of those multi-payment options are paid off, the family has lifetime coverage, and they also have coverage while those payments are being made. So we do have a few different options as to how to get somebody signed up and started out. And it could be as simple as just $45 a month.
Thank you for that. Well, I'm not seeing any specific questions from any of the participants, so I think we'll wrap things up for now. But like I said, if you do have questions later, feel free to reach out to your Preneed marketer, and they will be glad to answer those for you. But before we depart, I want to thank you, Bryce and Chris, for joining us and for talking through Sepio Guard. And remind us again what Sepio means.
To protect.
Sepio means protect in Latin. So
yes, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you all for joining us, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
You
Thanks,
as well,
Luke.
Luke. Thanks so much for having us. We'll see you.